Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 8 of the Pokemon Masterclass. I am Zero,
This is Ellie,
or this
and I'm
is
Gym Leader Justin.
the newest member to the PMC crew, is Ellie the puppy. Say hi,
The
everybody.
Pomeranian. This is why we didn't have as many uploads this week.
Yeah,
Uh, Miss Haley and I got a new little Poochiana in our life, and she's very cute and very sweet. She just had lunch, so she's about to go for a walk with Mama. And Daddy's going to record a podcast with Uncle Brandon. Isn't that right? All right, say goodbye. Everybody follow her on Instagram. Link down in the description.
yes. So we will link that, follow that. We also have our own Pokemon Masterclass Instagram that we just started like last week or something like that. So we're also going to link that.
You like that little segue?
Yeah, that was a good segue. Expect some Ellie-inspired Pokemon art coming soon from Justin.
Absolutely. We already have. We're designing our own. We are in the process of designing our own, like fan Pokedex, our own Fakemon Pokedex. And one of the things we're definitely adding is going to now be a Pomeranian. We've already got a couple of names picked out for the evolutionary types. We've already in the design phase of that. We've got our starters pretty much, solidified in terms of like the initial concept. So we're looking pretty good so far.
Yep. So, dude, we're already on to episode 8, and
Yeah, dude.
yeah, I'm glad we did this 2-week thing. It keeps me from keeps us both from going insane, and we're working at a good pace. But already 8 episodes in, and I feel like we just started this like YouTube channel like a month ago.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, we're trucking away, man.
yeah, we're
I like your
trucking on.
sweatshirt.
Thank you. We are getting together to play some Smash Bros later, so I needed
Yeah, we are.
needed
You got to
to
rep the brand.
yeah, gotta rep the brand.
Tails, is my Diddy sweatshirt clean for tonight?
He doesn't need it.
Please and thank you.
All right. Anyway, so we're gonna move into the news and everything. Today we're gonna be talking. We got a little bit of singles news, but we're mostly gonna be talking about a lot of double stuff again today. So we're gonna rip through the singles news. There's not too much, but there's some pretty significant stuff. And then
It's exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did cover a little bit on our own.
yeah,
We did a news video, but yeah, there's some good stuff. I'm excited.
Yep. So we're going to move right into the news, and then we're going to be talking a lot of doubles. Okay, so the first piece of news to talk about is probably the biggest news that happened in the singles community. It was the Zamazenta suspect test. We got Zamazenta being suspect tested. In OU, they're gonna finally free him.
Zamazenta Crown.
Yes. That's a good point. A really good point you make. It is Zamazenta Crown, so you can only run the Rusted Shield on this.
Yep. That's your only option, so no choice, no life orb, etc.
Yeah. It actually seems so far to be fitting in well with OU, I think. I'm really not sure if it's going to be allowed in, like when all is said and done. But we did a whole
We did
video.
see quite
on
a.
this.
We did do a video, and right after we posted that, then Envy posted his record with his team.
Yeah.
36-0. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
So obviously, what do you think now that we've obviously seen some footage and some stats of people actually playing with it? Have you played with it in OU?
I've played against it. I haven't played with it myself because I'm not particularly outside of the speed stat. I'm not like particularly wild about it in general. From an offensive standpoint, but I have lost to them. You definitely need something to outspeed this, and you gotta play your. You gotta weaken it in other ways.
matchups.
You need to weaken it in other ways before you. I mean, obviously, like everything, but
So toxic.
yeah, if you want to do so toxic, then go for it. Yeah, bring Pukamuku because Wild Charge isn't going to KO. Yeah, like I said, I honestly don't know if it's gonna be allowed in or not. Like Behemoth Bash is a pretty strong option from this Pokemon. Actually, like a lot more than I thought.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's only got 8 PP, but coming off a base 130 attack plus stab is pretty strong. And it's pretty strong against a meta with a lot of fairies. It also does get Ice Fang for dragons if you want to do that.
Oh, that's real good.
Yeah.
Garchomp won't like that.
No. So like I said, we did do a
Because I'm
whole
assuming
video.
the dog will be able to take an EQ if the Chomp's not boosted. The Dauntless Shield will be able to
Yeah, because
make you live 1 EQ and then you Ice Fang.
you get that +1. One Pokemon who I've been using to kind of get around this Pokemon is I'm using Scarf Kartana because
Nice.
Sacred
How's that been
Sword.
for you?
It's good because Sacred Sword goes through the +1 defense that he gets when he gets on the field.
Yeah,
So
that's dope.
So that's some tech that you might want to start thinking about if you're going to play OU. You might want to think about a Sacred Sword user like a Scarf Kartana or something of that nature.
I was similar kind of thought process, but yeah, I'm running that on my Terrakion.
Yep, exactly. You were doing that kind of for like doubles in case you ran into Zamazenta or whatever on...
or any sort of Dynamax boosting with Steel Spike and just all kinds of shenanigans.
Yep, Sacred Sword, pretty underrated, especially on those Swords of Justice Pokemon.
Yep, it's a really good option. I mean, close combat's great for just spamming high power, but there is something to be said about the utility. Like, there is a choice to be made there. It's not right or wrong. It depends on your flavor or whatever your team needs.
Yep, with this thing running around, it might be a better option than things like Superpower on Rillaboom or close combat on other Pokemon. So yeah. So like I said, we're gonna link the video in the description. We went really in depth with this Pokemon. If you want to see, we ran some calculations. We're gonna link that in the description. So moving on to the next one in NU, we have Entei and Glastrier have both been banned, and I'm using quotations with that one because Entei got just immediately banned. And then they also banned Glastrier, but then said that they were going to run a suspect test on Glastrier. So Glastrier is still in and usable right now in NU, but he is not
Suspect.
Yeah,
He's
suspect.
teetering.
Yeah. My thing with Glastrier in singles is it's just like you kind. It's kind of like make a choice. Like you're going to run this because it gets Swords Dance. But are you going to run it in a Trick Room? And like if you do Trick Room and Swords Dance, that's too much setup in a singles metagame to do any effective work. I like Assault Vest on this one, and I also like it on Calyrex. And I like screen support. I think that's easier to pull off, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And as far as Entei goes, it's the Sacred Fire, because
It's so strong.
Yeah, like if we
50% burn chance, the high base power, the fact that he gets the extreme speed is still really strong. Like Entei's just a powerhouse.
Yep, and then he gets things like Stomping Tantrum to a lesser extent for a ground move. He gets Stone Edge, so it's like I'm looking at NU right now, and it's like Arcanine takes Stone Edges, Arctivish, Stone Edges for Articuno. It's just Stone Edges for Braviary, Sacred Fire for Bronzong, Celebi, Caparaja, Decidueye, Delmise, just so many things. Escavalier.
It just hits everything.
Yeah. And he does get dark moves too. I think he gets Crunch for all of those ghosts in the tier.
Yep.
Alolan Sandslash gets destroyed by Sacred Fire.
I don't know if he gets Wild Charge. I think it's just Thunderfang.
I am really not too sure. I can actually look that up right now because I'm curious as well. We gotta be spitting out the facts here. We know he gets. You did mention E-Speed as well.
Yep, E-Speed is really good.
Yep. I don't see any electric coverage, so there's one thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No electric Fang at all, or Thunderfang.
Yeah. But it kind of doesn't really even need it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So,
just curious.
Yeah. Choice Banded Sacred Fires really hurt the tier. That's like the TLDR.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage. I'm curious to see what happens to Glastrier, though. I really like that.
Yep.
Really like that, man. So we're gonna move on to the next one really quickly. Magirna has been banned from national decks. People just don't like Magirna. So if you play national decks, no more Magirna. You're safe.
You're good to go.
Yeah. And then the next one we've got, Magneton has been banned from ZU. I thought this was actually probably a
I
good
like
ban.
him.
I think it's a good ban.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I think he's really strong. I always have. Magnezone is obviously the truth. Big rap on Magnezone here on the channel.
Yes.
But Magneton, yeah, I think he can work a lot of different ways. You remember back in fourth gen, back then it was NU,
Yep.
but the Parafusion set that I used to run in
Yeah.
as my lead
Yeah.
with Supersonic and Thunderwave.
Yep.
He gets what's it called? Analytic boost now.
Yep. So that's the big thing here.
There's a lot of cool. Yeah, he's got long story short, he has utility. He's got really good typing. He's got insanely good coverage for what it is. Like, you don't need a lot, and all of a sudden he's got really good coverage, and he's got really good stats.
Yeah. He got 120 base special attack because you got to remember this is a fully evolved Pokemon when it came to Gen 1. So 100,
Yeah,
120 base
it's been a
special
fully
attack.
evolved. This is a fully evolved Pokemon for 3 generations.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and like you mentioned, analytic. You get you're doing analytic boosted things. You know, when you're like volt switching out on things and getting analytic boosts, like that's some
Yeah,
crazy.
you're doing a lot of damage.
That's some crazy momentum.
Yep.
And I'm kind of
Yep.
looking through the tier right now. I'm looking for ground types. I had just found my first one all the way down to Rhydon. So
And he does get Magnet Rise. What's his base speed? 70?
yes, 70.
See, that's the crux. See, a Choice Scarf set was one thing that we also used to run. I think it was you, wasn't it?
Yep,
That used to run Choice Scarf?
I still run Choice Scarf Magneton.
Nice.
So
What's your set of choice?
Usually I'm running Flash Cannon, Tri Attack, Volt Switch, and Thunderbolt. No body press on this one. I do run body press on Magnezone, but
Yeah, he doesn't get it. It's only Magnezone.
okay, that's probably why I don't run it. But it's also his base defenses are not nearly as high as Magnezone.
No, yeah.
So yeah, there's only
He's
one
still
ground
got a
type.
great typing for the tier.
Oh,
And
no.
he does get Magnet Rise.
2 ground
He
types.
does get he does get Magnet Rise. He does get Rising Voltage.
Yep. There's this.
That's one set that I have is a Rising Voltage set.
Yep, and
I've actually got right here. I've got
think-
my handy dandy.
I think Pink
I don't
Urchin
know if we
is
should
unbanned.
show this off yet, but
Yeah, and Pincurchin is untiered, so that rising voltage strat totally works. You know, like Pincurchin
absolutely.
can really just enable that damage.
Rising the analytic boosted, right? You can put a sash on them.
Yep.
Analytic boosted, electric terrain boosted, rising voltage. Stab.
That's
You are going to it's a really good revenge kill.
yep.
And like that's just one of the many techs you could use. Obviously, that's sort of a niche thing, but that definitely is a viable strategy.
Yep.
So yeah, right here I named both of mine Magneto. So I've got one right here that's a magnet pull. It's Supersonic, Thunderwave, Thunderbolt, and Flash Cannon.
Yep.
It's just meant to trap in some steel types and parafusion them down, basically.
Yep.
Kind of standard, but this is just my parafusion set, basically. And then the my analytic one is Rising Voltage, Flash Cannon, Volt Switch, and Electric Terrain. So I'm setting up my own terrain
Yep.
here and then firing them off.
Yep.
And this one is so this one is a little bit of defense, max special attack, and then the rest is in HP. So it looks like if I'm remembering correctly, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, okay, so yeah, it's 2 full date switches in HP, max special attack, and then the remainder, so 66.
Yeah, so you kind of did like a
Slow, bulky,
yeah. You
to
could
take advantage of the analytic.
Yep. And then you could yeah, I like that.
You could also trick room it as well. And then the other one, the lead one, the supersonic one, that one's timid max speed special attack glass cannon.
Yep. So the last thing I want to point out about Magneton in this tier is that there's only one Pokemon in ZU. Well, there's two. There's technically two ground types. So Valley Ground and Rhydon's weak to Flash Cannon. So not a safe switch in at all.
And so, obviously, what he means there, not in terms of offensive pressure, because obviously there's lots of Pokemon that get ground-type moves that aren't ground-type. He means that are able to just be immune to your Rising Voltage or Thunderbolt, or obviously you can put this in the rain with Thunder. There's so many options.
Yep.
Electric type is so good, both offensively and defensively. It is absolutely one of, if not the premier typing in the game.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep. So we're going to move on to the last suspect test. Well, it's not a suspect test. This is actually a group of bands. Funnily enough, they are all crustaceans. Kingler,
yeah,
Clawitzer, and Omastar have all been banned from PU. And
all you can eat crab legs.
Once again, this is another set of bands that I agree with.
I absolutely, especially for me, I have the most to say, or the most experience, I guess, about Kingler.
Yeah.
Wow, Sheer Force Kingler with Liquidation, that thing absolutely destroys people's hopes and dreams.
Yep.
And he should not be in PU. NU is a great spot for him. NU is a great meta. You've got things like, because up there with Kingler being able to hit around with things like Arcanine and Bronzong and Sceptile and like that's where he should be, like with those type of pokes. He should not be slapping with like Sandaconda and like that's not the same tier.
No. I'm looking through the tier right now, and obviously the stab water is really strong. There's a few grass types in this tier, most notably Serena. However, a couple of these Pokemon, namely Omastar and Clawitzer, get access to ice moves, and I believe that Kingler also gets X Scissor if you really want to go that route, if you're worried about it. However, I feel like he doesn't really need that to deal that crazy damage. He gets agility, like you said, sheer force.
He gets agility. That's our favorite set is the agility, but another popular set is the Swords Dance version. Yep. It's got a base, 70 speed?
I believe so.
And it's a 130 or 135 attack, so it's an insane attack stat and 115 defense.
Yeah.
So obviously one little secret tech, one thing that we're working on for Series 9 is Gigantamax Kingler. Stoner Crab.
Stoner Crab.
Uh-oh, Mr. Krabs.
It's 75 base speed, actually, sir.
Looks like you got into that seaweed again. 75 base speed. So we personally like Max Adamant Life Orb with agility.
Yep.
That's actually a Brandon old school tech that I've adopted too. I love that set. I used to run the Swords Dance. I have now converted over to agility. I like because you pop that agility once and you just smash through everybody's house.
Yeah. Yep, he does get knockoff, like you said. Nice rock slide.
Knockoff in Gen for what it's worth for those cartridge players.
Yep, rock slide, really big damage from sheer force. So
he gets high horsepower as well.
Or
maybe it's Stomping Tantrum. It's one of the two. He gets a Quake option for doubles. I know that.
Yeah, he does get. He gets Dig. I know that. So in doubles, he'll be running Dig.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Yep. I remember seeing Quake.
Yep. Yeah, so all of these Pokemon hit so hard.
I'll run Dig.
I'll run Dig.
This is Smoke On. So we can run Toxic, Protect, Dig, Max HP, Defense Kingler, New Battle, man, Knockoff,
yep.
Utility Kingler, man.
Yep. Yeah, so kind of agree with all these. Like Clawitzer, 120 base attack, 59 speed's not bad when you're timid and you pair that with Icy Wind on the Switch. But then obviously Mega Launchers.
No, I like Clawitzer a lot. I like Clawitzer a lot. Icy Wind I think is amazing. That's another one of your tech. I think the Icy Wind Assault Vest set is probably the best way to run them. Other than that, you could do Choice Specs or Life Orb is obviously really good.
Yeah.
It depends on your team setup, but I like your idea of running the Icy Wind.
Yep, dude, Specs is huge. Specs is huge damage. It's insane. Like if you can get
so much.
If you can get a speed advantage somehow, dude, it's just
or get somebody on the Switch or get some sort of revenge kill situation. Yeah. There's so many options.
It's crazy.
But it's just he's in one of those weird He reminds me of being, obviously hoeing rep.
Hoeing
Reminds
rep.
me of he reminds me of Cameron,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he's not super bulky, and he's not slow. He's not fast enough to really, you know what I mean? He's not like sweet. He's not 60 or 62 speed or 65 or something like that, right? For this Clawitzer,
59. 59. It's
59.
like
So
super
that's
awkward.
just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's super awkward. It's not fast enough. It's not slow enough. It's a little strange. So, and he's not really bulky enough to tank. He doesn't get utility moves to really be a tank.
No.
So he's in the weird spot where he's a wall breaker, but it's just kind of strange.
Yeah, yeah.
I love him. I love his design. It's just I've never been able to personally utilize him. And maybe does he get flip turn now?
You know what?
Is that some new tech?
Let's. I'm looking right now. Yes, he does get flip turn.
That could be interesting. Maybe we should try him out.
Yeah, we should.
That'd be NU now. We've been working on some NU stuff. So yeah.
Actually, I'm actually very interested because that Dark Pulse really good against Bronzong.
Yeah.
It's because that's boosted,
really strong,
boosted by Mega Launcher.
Yep.
So, that's actually very interesting. I actually kind of like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Let's move
Stay
on.
tuned in the future, folks.
Yeah, stay tuned. All right. So that's it for bands. You want to move on to a little Players Cup 3 action? A little update on that?
4?
What's that? No, we're going to talk Players Cup 3 first. A little update for Players Cup 3.
Yeah. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, so Players Cup 3, for those of you who don't know, at the time of this recording, Top 16 is going on right now.
Yep.
And that's going on over at twitch.tv /Pokemon. And that's Top 16. Tomorrow is semis. And then Sunday is the last part of losers bracket and then grand finals. So I don't know exactly what time that is. Keep checking out twitch.tv /Pokemon if you want to watch the finals. It's being commentated by Cybertron, Lulu the Pikachu, Osiris, and Sierra Dawn. So all some pretty big names. I don't know Lulu the Pikachu yet, but I know the other three. Obviously.
Yeah, I've heard of Sierra Dawn and Lulu.
Yeah. Obviously, everyone kind of knows Cybertron, but
yeah, with
yeah. So the biggest name, as far as the American side goes, the biggest name left is Joe UX9. That dude is just consistent on every level. The definition of consistency is Joe UX9, and I find it really amazing that he's doing so well. And he also organizes his own tournaments and stuff like that. So pretty inspirational player, I would say. Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, we want to run little fun tournaments too. So if you guys are interested in that, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think we're going to take a really short break. And then when we come back, we're going to reflect on Players Cup 4. We're going to go over our teams a little bit.
Shortly.
Yeah. And then we are actually going to reflect on Series 8 because Series 8 is kind of wrapping up, coming to an end. We're trying to pump out a few videos for our last few Pokemon that we've been really interested in using.
We're wrapping up this this 3-month adventure that we've been on.
Yeah.
We're wrapping it up tightly in a bow.
Yeah.
And we're going to put that bow over a box. And we'll put that in another box. And we'll put that box in a safe. And we're going to lock it away and forget it exists.
And then we're going to...
But until then... But yeah, this last week we are going to pump out the last little bit of Series 8. And then we're going to move on to Series 9. And we're going to move forward, aren't we?
Yeah, we might throw the safe in a dumpster. And then drop it in the bottom.
Throw the dumpster in the ocean. Hopefully, but we are going to talk. Jokes aside, we're going to talk pros and cons of Series 8. We're going to talk what we learned. Primarily, Brandon and I being newer to VGC competitive scene or VGC as in general. And our perspective, we also understand the higher perspective. We're just not playing at that level. So we're going to talk both sides of it, and we are going to talk pros and cons.
Yeah.
So definitely stay tuned for that. We'll be back in just a second.
All right. finger guns. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. We're back. So it's time to talk about the Players' Cup 4. I'm going to talk about my team first, and then I'm going to kind of go over the strengths and weaknesses that the team had and reflect on my experience as a whole. And then Justin's going to do the same. And I'm going to have Justin's team in the background. So we're going to get right into that. All right. Players' Cup 4. Obviously, Players' Cup 4 was last weekend, Justin? Those qualifiers? Pretty.
That was something.
Pretty all right time. I brought a Calyrex Ice team. Justin brought a Zacian team. And I am going to kind of go into detail on my team first. So like I said, I did bring Calyrex Ice. He was the main feature. I also brought a Hatterene, an Incineroar, because Incineroar. I brought a Galarian Zapdos. I brought a Grimmsnarl, and I brought a Porygon 2, affectionately named Pink Duck. I was actually really excited about this team. It did really well on ladder. It really did well on ladder, like on ranked ladder. It did well on Pokemon Showdown. Did not do as well in the Players' Cup. But before we get into the strengths and weaknesses of the team, I'll just really quickly go over every Pokemon individually. Obviously, first and foremost, we got Calyrex Ice here. He is an Assault Vest variant of Calyrex Ice. And I'm running high horsepower, Glacial Lance, Close Combat, Throat Chop. Throat Chop, obviously, for the Ghost Horse. Glacial Lance for Stab. High horsepower. Because we're running an Assault Vest, high horsepower, you can kind of double that whole idea, kind of like lean into that whole specially defensive idea. And Close Combat for more boosts in case Incineroar is shuffling in and out, which came into play many, many times when using this horse. I did not really have a hard time with Incineroar, I'd say, because I'm able to boost with Knuckle and Grimnay and all those things. So
the Grimnay comes in real handy because, especially if somebody is not expecting like whether it's the Glacial Lance or the Hailstorm, you have such good options to pick up kills through sashes.
Yeah.
And like or to be able to clean up, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's so many options on the set, and like you said, Knuckle is another one too. If somebody's low, or you know what I mean, below half or super, you know what I mean. Like you just pop a Knuckle, get a kill, get a Knuckle boost and a Grimnay in one turn, boom, there you go.
Yep.
Like you're set.
I've had
there's a lot of good options.
Yeah, because like I've had those experiences where it's like, oh, I got a Whimsicott and it's across for me, it's got 20 HP, and it's like, if I don't want to make the wrong play on the other side, I'll just Knuckle the Whimsicott and I'll get +2 from one from the Knuckle, then I would get one from the Grimnay. So that came into play a lot. I really like the Assault Vest version, and I did not have a problem with damage output with this. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No, not one bit. Not one bit.
Nope.
And did you run Helping Hand on the team?
No, I didn't.
What do you think about adding that for next time? For maybe are you thinking about running a Glastrier for Series 9?
Yeah, it's definitely on the table. We've been using that actually a lot more lately, and I actually really love that move. I love the priority. Gets a little bit something more out of your Pokemon before
they die.
You know, like so you got, for example, we played a game with Cresselia. It was gonna get KO'd, so we just it used its dying breath to Helping Hand to Ho-Oh on video.
Yeah, just give it a clap.
Yeah, so
no, it's great. It's really good. It's really fun.
Yep. So that's my Glastrier, or my Calyrex Ice.
Sipping.
We were sipping on Calyrex Ice all weekend. So yeah, so I really enjoyed that. I was really happy.
Links to both those videos down in the description, obviously, for day 1 and day 3 was Brandon.
Yes. Next up, I had Hatterene. This is Gigantamax Hatterene. This was kind of my flex pick We like to call those like wild card picks our flex picks here. This one was
It's basically the sixth slot in the team.
yeah.
Essentially.
This was very trick room reliant. It's really hard to get Hatterene going outside of a trick room. However, if you get the trick room up and you're in a good position to Gigantamax, this Pokemon's Gigantamax.
She does work.
Her stabs like Gmax Smite causes confusion to both your opponents, and it doesn't
turn off terrain.
It doesn't turn off terrain. So when you're in a trick room, if you start Psychic Terrain on a previous turn and then you want to use your Fairy move, you don't have to worry about changing terrain. You still have speed control, and
you don't have to, what he's saying obviously is obviously in the one thing with a trick room and her being a psychic type would obviously be like priority moves like Sucker Punch or something. So obviously the Psychic Terrain stops any priority moves. That's why he's mentioning why it's so strong, because normally like a Gardevoir or a regular Hatterene or and whatever insert here where somebody has like Fairy and or a Psychic move or something like that, you'd be afraid of Star Falling.
Yes.
But the Smite gives you that other option.
Yeah. So I really like this Pokemon. Like I said, kind of harder to pull off. It's like the hardest Pokemon to pull off on my team. But the damage output with the Life Orb and max special attack is just insane. And you'll see that if you watch the day 3 video. We were surprised.
Day 3, she pulls in work.
We were surprised. We were really surprised at
Professor
some of the KOs.
McGonagall herself.
Well, mine's Bellatrix, but whatever. They're all named after Harry Potter witches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yours is McGonagall, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's McGonagall.
Yeah. And then I think Doug's is Luna Lovegood. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Doug's is Luna.
Yeah. So yeah, really fun flex pick. I love Hatterene, one of my favorite Gen 8 Pokemon.
Yeah, she's super cool.
Next,
I love her Gigantamax form too. Great design.
Yep. So next one I got is Incineroar. Really, this was a bulky Incineroar. I had been borrowing Justin's offensive one, which I think is very good in Series 8. However, you needed it for your team, right? When you had
we got mixed up with schedule. Well, yeah, we got mixed up with schedule because Brandon has a baby, I got a puppy, and then my work has been pretty crazy lately. So like our schedules, and we ended up. I didn't get his Incineroar to him in time because he had to make a last minute change to the team. And long story short, he ended up having to run with his Incin, which is the bulkier variant.
Yeah.
So how did it do for you? Unfortunately, how did it do for you?
It did just fine. I'll talk more about Incineroar as a whole on the team later, like in how it relates to the meta threats. Overall, it was fine.
He's a big player.
It did
He's
Incineroar
a big player
things.
in basically any conversation.
Yep, it did Incineroar things. I have the standard moveset, except outside of Parting Shot, I had Will-O-Wisp. That was just for like additional team support. Sometimes I wish I had Parting Shot. Sometimes I was glad I had Will-O-Wisp. It's two sides of the same great
player's
coin.
Choice.
Yeah,
yep, absolutely.
Yeah. But in hindsight, I think on a Trick Room team, I like Parting Shot more because you need those free switches into your offensive Pokemon. Because there were times I would set up a Trick Room.
Is so useful.
Yep, there's times I would set up a Trick Room and then like I was just waiting for my opponents to KO something so I get a safe switch into my offensive mon.
Yep, and Parting Shot. Yeah, the double utility of Parting Shot is really what it's all about for me. I love that. I'm all about that move.
Yeah, it was
big fan.
It's hard to like if you have like a really passive lead with like Grimmsnarl and Incineroar, like you can get your screens up, but then it's like, now what? You know what I mean?
Parting Shot out.
You know what I mean? If I had Parting Shot, it could have helped me in a couple places. So yeah, I had Incineroar. Sorry for everyone who hates him. Moving on. Next, I had Galarian Zapdos. This was kind of another. I don't want to say flex pick. This was a very deliberate pick. I ran Focus Sash and I ran Close Combat over Thunderous Kick because Close Combat gives me the ability to one-hit KO basically any version of Incineroar when I'm sitting at +1 because of Defiant. So, and then Brave Bird has a chance.
Thunderous Kick does not.
Yeah, Brave Bird has a chance to one-hit KO Landorus. Max Airstream always one-hit KOs Landorus. So there's that. But yeah, and then I had Throat Chop for the Ghost Horse. This actually came into play a lot where I would Dynamax or I would just stay little because I had the focus sash. I knew I would take the hit, but then I would trade with the throat chop. So I almost always won the exchange against Calyrex Shadow Rider because I had throat chop on there, and then obviously protect because I like protect on all my offensive Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, big intimidate deterrent. Really excited to use it again in Series 9.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan. That's my favorite, probably my favorite legendary bird of all time.
Shout outs.
Shout outs.
Moving on to another one of my favorite 8th gen Pokemon, I had Grimmsnarl. Sorry for everyone who hates Grimmsnarl.
I
Standard.
love Grimmsnarl.
I do too. I was running offensive Grimmsnarl on my PC3 team, and it was awesome. So this is light screen and reflect variant. Nothing too surprising. Spirit Break. I always carry Spirit Break. Always. I'd never trade that move out.
Never leave home without it.
Nope. And then the last move is always like the flex for me. Sometimes it's Thunder Wave. This time it was Taunt to stop opposing Trick Room Pokemon or just whatever for whatever utility I needed. Did come in handy a couple times. We called out a few things. It's like nice to taunt Amoonguss so he doesn't spore you.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. Really like Grimmsnarl. I feel like there's not much more to say about him other than he's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, absolutely. So before we get into my team,
Well, I
have
got
a
one
little
more.
surprise for you.
I got
Oh, you
one
do have
more.
one more.
One more. And it's
One
not
more,
that
one
big
more.
of a. It's Porygon 2.
Hey!
Nothing surprising here. This is my Trick Room setter. Ally, switch, Trick Room, recover. It's very standard. I just went with it because it's tried and true. It may be telegraphed, but it's so good. It's kind of like Zacian. Like you know what Zacian's gonna do. This is kind of the same thing. You know what Porygon's gonna do. It's not a big surprise to anyone. So anyway, that's my team. The last things I wanted to touch on with my team was how it dealt with certain meta threats. I needed a more concrete answer to Zacian. Incineroar wasn't enough because on paper you're like, okay, Incineroar, he's got a fire type move, he one hit KO Zacian. But he's weak to close combat / Sacred Sword. So he's never a safe switch in, and the speed is a problem. You know what I mean? If he's been damaged in any way, to start the battle or whatever, like if the only way you kind of my team would win that exchange is if they both come in on full health. And then I have to play around the protect. I have to play around the substitutes. I had to play a lot of games with Zacian, and Incineroar was not the answer that I needed. And obviously Zacian, the most used Pokemon, most used restricted Pokemon in the format. It stacked up really well against rain teams because I had the Assault Vest, and then I would just Dynamax, Max Quake. Then I'm taking out Torn Ogres with Glacial Lance or whatever, or so
smashing them.
Yep, stacked up pretty well against Sun teams, especially Sun Room teams with a Trick Room. Easy, it gets a lot of damage on Groudon, a lot of damage on even Charizard when it's maxed. So especially because I had the Assault Vest. So if I had a Trick Room, I did really, really well against Sun teams. And then last thing I wanted to say about my experience overall, started out really, really hot. I think I peaked at like 291, but that was like the first night. And then I kind of hovered around the 900s, and then I just kind of fell off. So too many Zacians. That was my problem. So that's my team. Justin, let's move on to yours. What was the surprise you had? Ooh, what do we got here?
I got a new light like you got.
Hey.
It's got 3 clips for phones. 1, 2, 3. And it's extendable and all that good jazz.
Look at that fanciness.
Yeah.
I like it. Moving up in the world. All right, so Justin, you want to talk really quick about your team before we move on?
Yeah. So, excuse me. It started off really well. Actually started off with you at your house after we did the last podcast.
Yeah.
And, or before we did the podcast. But anyways, and it was going really, really, really well. We played 5 games, and 4 out of those 5 games, we ended up losing.
Yes. Yes.
And out of those 5 games, we went 1-4, and in my opinion, we should have went 4-1.
Agree.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Do
Like,
you think it's our fault that we lost those 4 games?
no, no. Like, as much
Or
as
excuse me, 3 out of the 4 games that we lost.
yeah. It's
1 game was our fault.
it's one of those things where it's like you hate to like throw the hacks excuse out there, but it was some of the most
It
egregious
was rough,
hacks
bro. You're a witness.
some of the most
You're a
egregious
witness.
hacks I've ever seen, dude. It was
We played it like, look, the only way that this fails is if this person gets like the luckiest of luckiest, and sure enough, there it goes.
Yeah.
You not only did you hit me, but you also burned me, and
yeah. It was we really like manifested some bad things there, I think.
yeah. But yeah, it was a fun team. I think in hindsight, the major change that I would make is the tornadoes.
Really?
I would swap that out for, instead of Tailwind, I'd swap that out for Trick Room.
Oh, okay, okay. I guess yeah, I can kind of see it because I like that because then you get 2 modes.
We've got bulky offensive Incineroar, bulky offensive Rillaboom, bulky screen setter Lapras, and then Zacian and Coco are the fast ones. Cool, they're whatever. You know what I mean? Having that flex pick of having, because like Tailwind never really helped us. There was a lot of times where it's like we set up Tailwind, but we were still slower.
Yeah.
Because something else had it, like the opponents had Tailwind or Airstream.
Yeah, it's
whatever,
that or
you know
like,
what I mean? Like
that or like you don't even need it because Zacian and Coco are so fast already, and then you've got priority with Rillaboom. So yeah, I can kind of see that.
And there's so many support pokes that we could add in here. Like there could be a potential follow me user even.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of potential options there.
Dude,
anyways, so the team's pretty straightforward. The Zacian is a little different. I built it kind of for the meta because I was expecting to see a lot of Kyogres.
Yep.
We saw a lot of Kyogres all throughout Series 8 until
Players Cup. Yeah.
Until Players Cup 4, and then they just dropped off the face of the earth. But yeah, Lapras, sets up the screens with Resonance. You've got Hydro Pump, which turns into Geyser, sets up the Rain. So Zacian being a Steel type in the Rain is real nice.
Yes.
Rillaboom on the Rain is real nice. We've got Electric Terrain either coming out of Coco and or Lapras. Lapras, if you lead Lapras Coco, you can OHKO all the standard Kyogres with Max Lightning.
Nice.
With the Thunder, if you're Thunder boosted, Max Lightning, because this is modest.
Yep.
And then obviously Life Dew becomes my guard. Life Dew is my unique seasoning.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And you saw, we didn't really get to feature it too much on camera, but you saw a lot of times in practice, either against you or when you and I were battling together against, the ranked ladder. Life Dew came in handy quite a bit. Life Dew's a secret tech, bro.
It's really it's a very like demoralizing like for the enemy when
you protect and they Life Dew and you're just like, oh, I could have attacked.
Yeah, or like when you're up against someone and then like you've got like maybe a Pokemon advantage or like you guys are good on health. And they take their shots at you, but you're so bulky behind screens, and then you just Life Dew off that damage. Like it's just so like demoralizing.
Friend guard, screens and friend guard. That's what I love is Life Dew. Fairy, that's a big one.
Yeah,
but yeah, so the Zacian. That's why the Zacian has Wild Charge, and then the Crunch was for if we were seeing a lot of Shadow Horse leading up to Players Cup 4. We did a practice tournament, and all I saw was I was trying out a Solgaleo team, and I saw 4 more hacks. By the way, I'm not trying to. I'm honestly not trying to be that guy and complain about hacks. But Brandon's a witness again. I played 4 games in a practice tournament, and all 4 games were against Shadow Horse.
Yeah.
No. Excuse me. I played 5 games. 4 Shadow Horse and 1
Sceptile.
No, but that was a Shadow Horse team.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no.
It was rough. It was rough. No, the other thing that I fought against was another Solgaleo. And that was the one win that I got.
Yeah. You're the Solgaleo master. You're the real Lion King.
Thank you. But yeah, so this is Mayan Sin. This is max adamant attack. 96 defense and the rest in HP.
Yep.
What you see is what you get. It's really good. It's really, really strong. Rillaboom, max adamant, and max HP with Assault Vest, really bulky. The other option is to do Culpa Berry, which is obviously the I almost said wind,
No.
anti-flying,
Yep.
super effective, which is really, really nice. This is Gigantamax Rillaboom, which just comes in super handy to be able to really bust through. We didn't see any Sap Sipper pokes, but just in case we did, or in case there was a Mimikyu or whatever, again, didn't come up, but again, just having that there just in case, it was really nice. Yeah, the high horsepower was sort of the flex pick there.
Yeah.
Grassy Glide Fake Out knockoff's pretty standard. High horsepower is sort of the standard, but I was debating with you behind the scenes. I was asking you that or Drain Punch.
Yep.
For the Knuckle.
Yep.
You know, basically it was either Knuckle or Quake, and we decided to go for Quake because we didn't have it anywhere else on the team. And so yeah, that's pretty much what you. Oh, so yeah, the Tapu Koko. This thing is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Tapu Koko is so good. I can't wait to use this in Series 9. Magnet with the Electro Web and Thunderbolt as the options. We were testing Grass Knot for a little bit, but the fact that weight moves don't hit Dynamax really did come in to be a crux. And alternatively, I think you agreed with me. I don't mean to speak for you, but I personally said, you know what? It's not worth it to have the little bit extra coverage just in case we see a Gastrodon.
Yeah, because we lost the game to a Gastrodon literally for that reason.
Because he Dynamax and then just stalled out turns because we couldn't hit him.
Yep, that was.
Well, we had Dazzling Gleam, but I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. So yeah, personally, being able to have the Electro Web for speed control and then Thunderbolt, really, really nice, and then the super fast taunt that can't be understated how much that comes in because you can, unlike the Prankster taunt, I can taunt. I won't be going first, but I can taunt Grimmsnarl. Mm-hmm. I can taunt, and I will be going first. I can taunt Incineroar.
Yep. So you can't parting shot out on you and things like that.
Parting shot out. Exactly. I'm faster than, and I can taunt both Yveltal and Moltres.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Galarian Moltres, who loves to run Nasty Plot Protect.
Yep.
Don't they?
Yeah, they do.
It really does come in handy when you have a really, really fast protect or taunt.
Yep.
So, and then Dazzling Gleam is just amazing coverage.
Yes.
Stab Dazzle.
Yep, I like the team, man.
It went really well. Again, even though we lost, it went really well. You and I think we had a really good grasp of the team. We had a lot of fun with it. I like the team. What do you think?
Yeah,
I love Boomer. I love Rillaboom.
Yep. Yeah. No, I had a good time with it. I thought the offensive options were really fun, in my opinion. Like even Lapras, little offensive. I think it's a lot of fun. I really liked it.
Yeah, and having people like try to target down Lapras, maybe they thought she was weakness policy or whatever.
Yeah.
But no. I literally care about Dynamaxing, hitting Resonance, living long enough to get the screens up, and then everything else is extra.
Yep.
And it's weird to say that because like that's your whole Dynamax. It's like yeah, but it screens in one turn, and then she's just a bit like if she dies after that, okay. But I have screens up, and now Zacian can just sweep.
Yep, and we run that like play on this channel.
Exactly. We have the 8 turns, and we didn't run up. I didn't see any, and you didn't see any, I don't think. But Doug ran up to 2 in his Players' Cup weekend. I think one was in the practice tournament and one was in the regular. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, he ran up against 2 Mr. Rhyme, Screen Cleaner Mr. Rhyme with Fake Out. So they'd come in, wipe, etch a sketch away his, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Mime it all away and then Fake Out, slap, and then whoop, out. He said that they'd be like switching in and out constantly.
Yeah.
It's like, that sounds like a lot of fun / really annoying.
Yeah.
I like Mr. Rhyme though.
I do too. Hopefully we can feature him.
Hashtag best walk in 8th gen.
Yep.
He twirls his little pimp cane, man. You remember that when I showed you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so this is basically my team. It was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be featuring something similar in Series 9. Just got to swap out Zacian and maybe swap out Tornadus for something. But yeah.
Yep. And we're going to do a whole video on like swapping out your restricteds for other potential Pokemon. like potential.
S8 to S9.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited for that project. We've been working on this for a while.
Yep. So speaking of Series 9, that's coming up soon. Shall we reflect on Series 8 a little bit before we kind of
Yeah,
wrap this
I would
up?
love to.
Got another 10, 15 minutes to kind of...
Do you want to talk about the pros or the cons first?
I would like to talk about the cons first because I don't want to end this
Cool.
on...
Then we'll wrap it up positive,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because I don't want to wrap this up in
All right, so go, man.
in a negative way.
I'm gonna structure it this way.
Okay.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say my piece real quick,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna let you get on your soapbox because you have a lot more to say in this part than I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, man, go ahead.
So, my personal negative experience or cons, the list of cons that I've experienced in Series 8 through tournaments, local, online, friendly, and online official,
Yep.
as well as ranked ladder and showdown practice. My official verdict is I give Series 8 probably, I'm going to say, a 6 out of 10. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I like it. It's okay. It's decent. I like it better than I liked Series 5 when what was it, Series 6 with the ban list?
Yeah, Series 6 is when we had that ban list. Like, sort of like no boomer and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. Me personally, I like the experience of trying out a lot of these Ubers. Restricted. We obviously, singles.
Yeah, we call them Ubers, singles.
I loved the experience of trying them all out. I had a field day. Oh, I'm going to make a Lunala team. I'm going to make a Palkia team. I'm going to make Lugia. Just one of everybody and just try them all out, all different combos, and just try, let's throw like I said, let's throw Mr. Rhyme on there because we haven't featured that yet. Let's throw, like this team, like let's throw Tornadus. We haven't featured that yet. Let's throw Lapras. We haven't featured that yet.
Yep.
It was just kind of fun to just, and it was a fun for me as like a newer VGC competitive player. It was really fun from a list design perspective, or excuse me, a team building perspective, because it gave me an easy starting point of, okay, what kind of team do you want to build? Well, what Uber do you want to feature? Like, that's just a really, really, really super easy start, like jumping off point to build a team.
Yep, made
what
that part
Uber
easy.
Do you want to feature?
Yep.
Yeah. And so for me, it gave me a lot of room to explore. And for sure, the negatives by far was the staleness, if that's a word.
Yeah.
How stale the meta seemed to be on the ranked ladder on card. Like, whether it was grinding up to I would say about Great Ball 8 or 9, you started to see it. And then all the way through basically most of Master Ball that I was in, it was nothing but Kyogre, Zacian, and Calyrex Shadow. Like, I would say comfortably 85 to 90%.
Yeah. And that kind of got worse. That got worse.
That's why you saw my team had Crunch to take care of the Shadow.
Yeah.
It had High Horsepower and Flare Blitz to take care of Zacian, and then it had things like Wild Charge, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Electric Terrain, and stuff like that, and Grassy Glide and stuff to take care of Kyogre. Like, it was just, after a while, it was like, there's what, 18 restricted Pokemon that we could choose from?
Something like that. 18 to 23, I don't know.
And
like
people are using 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people are using 3. It was just, after a while, it felt like work to log on to make a video, or just to log on, not even to hit record, just to log on and just play ranked just for a little bit. Like, I just want to play pokes for a little bit. It felt like work.
Yeah.
After a while,
I felt that way too.
Died down after a while.
Yeah, like hitting that continue battle button didn't seem like, I was just like,
it got more difficult throughout. Not just Players Cup 4, but throughout as the 3 months progressed, it got more difficult to hit continue battle.
Yeah, because I stopped looking forward to making things because I was like, I really hope I don't run into a Zacian team because, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That really weighed on me heavily.
Yeah, it weighed so heavily on our decision making in terms of team building after a while. Like there were certain things like we had a couple like our original Eveltal team. We never even got to cartridge because like life and doctors and puppies and babies and all kinds of stuff got in the way and work and we just didn't have time to feature it on cart with a different version of Eveltal. We both love Eveltal,
Yeah.
but we just had to make a decision. We had to make cuts somewhere. But the Eveltal team that we were practicing with on Showdown was cool. It was fun, but it can't stand up.
No, not
It couldn't. It
not
was
really. Like, what is it going to do to hit Zacian? Like, I mean, it gets Heat Wave, but you're if you've taken any chip, you're a behemoth blade away from just getting KO'd because of the
you're
mechanics
straight
of
up
behemoth
dead.
blade. Yeah, you know what I
Or
mean?
he could just wild charge you.
Yeah, yep. So
Electric Train Wild Charge or Behemoth Blade with a partner,
yeah, like you know what I mean.
adding a little chip, you're dead.
If you run into Regieleki plus Zacian, which is very common,
Super common. We
that's
ran into that twice yesterday,
yeah,
just on
that's
the ladder alone.
just the end of the road right there. Like you just can't. What do you how do you win that?
Yeah.
You know?
All right. See that's pretty much for me. I would surmise it with it was a really good start, and then it plateaued, and then it slowly kind of went downhill, especially the last week or so. And for me, Players Cup 4 left a sour taste in my mouth just because that's the practice tournament and then the actual tournament itself.
And
Literally, I saw one Groudon, one Solgaleo, and then everything else was those three: Kyogre, Zacian Crowned, Calyrex, Shadow Rider.
and the Zacian factor is even after Players Cup 4, the Zacian factor was even stronger because a lot of the best teams were Zacian teams, and
Were
people got their
Zacian
hands
teams,
on those
and I
rental
was running
codes.
Zacian too. So like, I'm also like I was trying to be different.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, and 90% of the time, Zacian wasn't even like the main feature. He was like, he would come in at the very end and he would like draw aggro and be like, no. This is actually max adamant Incineroar, so he's just
Yep.
gonna Flare Blitz and KO something. Do
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like that's how I used Zacian.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of
So,
it's
but I agree. Like, I might sound like a hypocrite because I brought a Zacian team, but I'm also you got to realize like dogs or wolves are like my favorite animal. Like wolves are like my favorite like fantasy animal.
yep.
I have sword version. This is my box art legendary, and he's super good. Like I thought he's super cool.
Yeah.
I've loved him since day one. So him and Zamazenta both. Like the second I found out that they were wolf, I was like, "Woo!" Like I was screaming in the chat. Remember that day?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they were cool. Yep.
So this is a true passion project for me. I wasn't. This was the very first, or technically second iteration, because originally this had a Kartana,
Yep.
but as featured in our rental code vid. But like the Zacian team is one of my favorite teams that we've made. It was just a lot of fun,
Yep.
and we had a lot of cool, fun tools and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to sound like a hypocrite. This is just truly one of my favorite pokes, and it got viable, so I used it.
Yep. So yeah, we got about 5 or 6 minutes left before we finish this one off. So I'll take that time to kind of run through my thoughts really quick. I'm gonna
Yeah,
run
I would.
through.
Well, I want to hear your.
I'm gonna start
Sorry,
with my cons.
I would love to hear your negatives, your cons, because you had. I had a lot more of like. I had a lot more positive
Yeah, you did. Yep.
duration. Like there was a lot more like, wow, I thought I was feeling great for most of Series 8.
Yeah. So this one's gonna kind of start as a positive and then kind of move to a negative. It's just the overall evolution of the series. When it first started, it was just Tornogre and just Zacian. So that was super impressive to start. But then
Especially the Kyogre.
Yeah,
Like I remember that one
was
day
terrible.
you got beyond like it was like what 5 in a row.
It was terrible. It was really terrible. But then it kind of moved to this really fun place where Dialga and Solgaleo and Necrozma Duskmane were,
Lunala.
yeah, like those were viable, and that was really cool. We featured a lot of those on our channel, and I thought those were
Yep.
great Pokemon. They were really hard to beat, but it was different. It was something.
It was different, and it posed a different challenge. It was fun to see those pokes that we never see, obviously,
Yeah.
unless you play an Uber's meta. So
Yep.
it was just, yeah.
Yep, and then it moved into the Zacian Tornagor thing again, plus Groudon.
The cookie cutter.
Yep, and then like I said before, because of Players Cup 4, everyone got their hands on the tournament winning teams, the qualifying teams, and they're all Zacian teams. So
Now that's all you see.
so that's all you see. And then obviously, so it's like too much Zamazenta. I didn't think a lot of the strategies varied from fat Pokemon with weakness policies. I kind of mentioned that when the series started. I was worried that was going to be the thing.
Neither
And
one
it
of
was.
us featured it. Neither one of us featured it. We're anti-meta.
Yeah, no, I don't think we did. I know I didn't. I didn't feature any
I
weakness
didn't.
policy mons.
I didn't have a weakness policy on that entire team.
Yeah, I didn't have a weakness policy on mine either. So, yeah, that part of the meta I
We're
found.
hipsters, man.
Yeah,
We're
that
true hipsters.
Dynamax really like kind of allows that, but it's like when you're up against
Mm-hmm.
things like Solgaleo with Full Metal Body, and like you hit him with Bulldoze and he still doesn't get slow. Cool strat, but it's like it's a lot of that stuff. Shadow Sneak Mimikyu onto Calyrex Ice and stuff like that.
Sucker punching and aqua jetting
And then I didn't like you had mentioned before. It's like how many legendaries do we have to use, and we're using 3 of them. Like I didn't like that. I didn't like that, and it made the team building so restrictive. Like if
claustrophobic.
you're like I have to have this, and this to deal with this, and this, and it's like so now I got one spot on my team. So now I got one spot on my team for something fun and unique. You know what I mean? Like everything else is just like
Everything else is one of like 10 or 12 that's like cookie cutter shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You always got to pack Gribstone. You always got to pack.
Realistically, there's a pool of like 20 pokes that at any point in time you're like, oh yeah, that's the meta build.
Yeah,
Like Reggie. It could be Regieleki or it could be Tapu Koko.
and that's why Landorus was so popular, is because like Regieleki's everywhere. Like you have to have Landorus or something to do with a Lecky, and it's like
or something. You got to have the Quake option.
But like Landorus was that option for so many people for a good reason. But
it's because he fills so many slots. Like he's an Airstream. He's a anti-electric. He's intimidate. He's fast. He's strong. He's you know what I mean. So
yeah. So moving on to my pluses really quick, because I want to end this on a good note. I was really happy to use Mewtwo. I made a Mewtwo team. I used it on the channel a few days ago. I'll put the link to that to the description. I was super happy to. I wish I made it 2 months earlier, but I finally made a Mewtwo team that I enjoyed.
But it took you that long to like learn the meta or learn how you wanted to play it or what tools you liked. And
I'm just gonna plug Alakazam into it now. Once this is done, I'm literally just throwing Alakazam on it. So that was really cool for me. I really enjoyed that because I never get to use them, and it was cool that I took the Mewtwo that I've been carrying around since Fire Red and Leaf Green, and he's out there busting heads on the ranked ladder. Like that was a cool experience for me. Another thing is I feel really prepared for Series 9 at this point. I'm excited for Series 9. I feel prepared. I feel ready for whatever. I feel like my team building got better. I feel like analyzing the meta for me got better.
I feel like we learned a lot these past 3 months.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my biggest pro. My biggest con is the stale cookie cutter meta, and my biggest pro is how much we learned despite that. Because
yes,
it was a tough meta, but it also made us tougher. It made us better by learning, okay, well, how do we beat this crap? How do we beat the top filth kind of stuff every game?
Yep. And then I learned a lot about like legendaries in general. Like I never knew that Palkia was actually like pretty good, like 100 base speed, which is faster than a lot of legendaries. And then Yeah, and
That's
100.
faster than most of the Uber tier.
Yeah, 150 special attack. Like I didn't really like know those stats right off the top of my head, and
I
because of
had
this
no
meta.
idea Dialga was so just. I mean, he embodies what a legendary Uber should be. He's tanky
Yep.
beyond belief. He does incredible damage. Like you're just like, does this thing ever just not? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's just you're lost for words. He doesn't die. He kills everything.
Yep.
Dialga's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you real quick, what was if you had to choose? You could pick more than one, but if you had to choose, what was the most fun Uber to use?
I had a good time with Zekrom.
Nice.
I made
Yeah,
that
I had a lot of
team.
fun with that.
I made that team like specifically to counter Kyogre teams, and it was really fun. Like the damage output from Life Orb plus the electric terrain what we put together, and then he got dual wing beat this generation, so he can boost his own
New
speed
Airstream,
with
yep.
airstreams. Like that was super
So
fun.
good,
I
so big.
I really enjoyed using him. I did enjoy Calyrex Ice, even though he's kind of a meta pick, but I didn't run a meta build, so but I liked
No, I
that.
liked it.
How about you?
So my most fun one is probably gonna be, huh? It's a tough one between either your Calyrex Ice team was a lot of fun,
Yeah, it
honestly.
was.
Your and then I had a lot of fun with the Zamazenta team. The
Yeah,
coaching, the double, we had double coaching on that team. Again, Rillaboom was a big feature. He got to sweep a lot, so
yeah,
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
yeah.
What was the Uber that you were? Uh, so the most fun, I guess, is like most impressive. So we'll do the opposite. What was the Uber that you were least impressed with?
Zamazenta.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah. Like the utility role for him obviously is definitely the best. Like an offensive role
Yeah,
is not like you kind of hit the nail on the head because I wanted to use him offensively. Like this is the Uber from my game.
yeah, that
Offensive
was
is
sort
not
of.
not the not the best unless you're gonna run. You could run Behemoth, Blade, Bash, and close combat and get good coverage. But
Mhm.
other than that, it was
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you?
So for me, my least impressive Uber, um, oh gosh, Eternatus.
Yeah, he was really bad. He was really
I
bad.
I personally never lost to an Eternatus team.
Nope, me either.
I because we know that it's just a shame because his like trick, the three legendaries this gen cannot Dynamax. The Zamazenta, Zacian, and Eternatus. They can't Dynamax. And that's their shtick, right? But
Yep.
but in trade off, they each get their own move that can do extra bazillions and 200 base damage against Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon. Behemoth Blade for Zacian, Behemoth Bash for Zamazenta, or
Dynamax Cannon.
Dynamax Cannon, yep, for Eternatus. The problem is Dynamax Cannon is Dragon type. So all you have to do is have a fairy and
Yeah, and
okay. And somebody's retort could be, okay, well then he can sludge bomb. Okay. So I'm gonna take like a third, maybe half, and then I'm just gonna OHKO it in return.
yeah,
Because I'm a fairy and I'm Gigantamax. Gigantamax Hatterene.
yeah.
Gigantamax Hatterene is not scared of Eternatus at all,
And another thing,
regardless if the Trick Room is up.
another thing I
If
want
the
to
Trick
point
Room is up,
out.
especially.
Yeah, another thing I want to point out is that the most meta threats, Zacian, Calyrex Shadow, and Calyrex Ice Rider, well, even Kyogre hit it for super effective damage. So I mean, Calyrex Ice is gonna live a Dynamax cannon and just blow it up with whatever.
Yep. Because he's still obviously what he means is like Kyogre has Blizzard or Ice Beam.
Yep,
Like
yep.
he's talking about the ice weakness because he's Dragon Poison.
Groudon
Poison
has
doesn't
ground
give
moves.
Groudon has ground moves. Like it's just there's so many Quakes going around because there's a lot of Steel types like Dialga,
Yep,
Zacian, and
yep.
Zamazenta. Like there's so many common. Like you're not even trying to bring threats,
Yeah,
and you're bringing threats. And then on top of that, I felt it was always really awkward. Sorry, this is the last thing I'll say about him. I thought it was really awkward to always. I had 3 different iterations of the Eternatus, and it just always felt awkward to me because I always felt like, why am I bringing him? I could just bring like a 4th slot that synergizes better.
Yeah.
Because like I saw 2 or 3 different teams. Doug saw one, or you saw somebody. We saw multiple teams that were trying to run him with toxic spikes, and I'm just.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just not about that life, bro.
No. At least he's good in singles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
So last thing I want to say is there's a positive, like the most like underestimated, or how do I want to word this? You're most impressed by, but it's like you're like, wow, that's a surprise. Like I was not expecting this thing to be good, and it blew your mind. By like, wow, I'm really impressed. That was actually a lot more fun, or a lot better than I thought it would be.
Lunala.
So the surprise factor, Uber.
Lunala.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Lunala video, and that was really awesome. We'll post that one too.
That team was so fun.
Yeah, that was.
Lunala was way better than we steered away from her from forever because we were like, oh, there's metas with sucker punches and or even just common dark type threats. There was the Cataract Shadow Rider, which outspeeds her and can Okor because she's ×4 weak to Ghost. Like, but we really didn't take into account the Shadow Shield ability plus her insane 163 or 167 HP. It's an insanely high HP stat. We underestimated her survivability, and then her ability to just revenge, kill, and return. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a minute. Now we have a Pokemon advantage, and we're like, wait a minute, we're actually in a really good spot after a Meteor Beam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep, it was a good surprising pick. Yeah.
So fun.
Yep.
Amazing team.
Yep.
So that was Series 8 for us. We're again, we got one more week to go. We're just wrapping up the last couple projects. We're not starting any new projects, but the ones that are on the sticky board, our post-it board, those are the ones we're finishing. Then we're going on to Series 9.
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to wrap up here today, brother?
No. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Share it with your friends. Share it with your whoever. Share it with anyone who likes Pokemon.
Share it on Reddit. Share it on Twitter.
Yep. So that's gonna do it for us. We're gonna sign off, and I'm gonna edit this so I can go play Super Smash Bros.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Yeah.
Until next time, I've been Grass Leader Justin.
I'm Zero.
Class dismissed.